Alright, Pretender here. And today I kind of wanted to be talking about single targets in Sorrow. As we do know, the spotlight is usually always on the AoE characters. We have broken EX level characters, or tier 0 I guess. Being Acheron and Firefly, both AoE, both broken because they can do some crazy damage as AoE units. But as a byproduct of that, single targets usually do just get kind of the side eye. Anytime a character has a single target, a lot of people start, I'm gonna say it, they start doom posting about them, and they completely downplay the potential of single target characters. And so today I kind of wanted to be talking about single target characters and why I do think single target characters, them being single target, is no longer a problem, and I think people should not be doom posting about characters being single target anymore. That's all I gotta say. Before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub, hit the bell icon for more videos like this, and let's get straight into it. So first, as a disclaimer, I'm obviously not going to be talking about pure fiction because that mode is clearly tailored towards only AoE characters. 5 enemies on the field, refreshing enemies constantly. That's pretty obvious that single targets are not going to do good there. So I'm not going to be talking about that. So this is mainly going to be talking about Memory of Chaos and Apocalyptic Shadow, where both AoE and single targets can be just fine. So first, let's kind of talk about existing characters already. So that's like the follow-up characters, Topaz Ratio, Zele, Boothill. And also briefly talking about this, I did make a poll a few days ago asking you guys how you guys felt about single target units, and there were a lot of really good points made, and I agreed with practically all of them. Some stuff like hunt characters being hard to use compared to like the other AoE characters that are really just click skill, kill everything, win, go next. Every hunt or single target character having their own thing that you gotta actually think about rather than just brain deadly spamming. Some people did talk about why I also mentioned about single targets being doom posted to hell. So a lot of points made on that poll by you guys were really good. But yeah, back to the topic. Obviously talking about the character that came first, that started the game with a pretty strong banner start, being Zele. Obviously Zele now isn't that great. Well, I won't even say isn't that great. She's still good, but she's obviously not what she used to be because obviously the game progresses, different types of enemies. And I don't want to talk about Zele too much because she clearly has Resurgence, which makes her hit up multiple enemies, can easily shred through enemies, but she is at heart a single target character. And we've seen the sheer output Zele can get. She can do easy 100k, 200k damages per skill. Her ult can go all the way from 200 to 400k. A thing that single targets need to be looked at as boss killers. The purpose of single target characters are mainly to absolutely shred through a certain enemy's boss HP bar, or whatever they are. So taking a unit that might not have AoEs, but has single target damage, obviously, compared to AoE characters, to that single enemy they're going to do more. Again, throughout the course of the game, that was seen as less valuable because we've seen how AoE characters can do a lot of damage to single enemies. But single targets ultimately overall could do more damage. Like Zele with Resurgence can do a lot more damage to a single target enemy than most of the game's AoEs can do. And so that was a big thing, but again, Resurgence is practically just locked to her, so I'm not gonna talk about that too much, because that's kind of like cheating, I guess. But actual single target characters, the ones that can actually only really attack one enemy, minus the fact that Dark Ratio's ult might do something, Topaz and Ratio. Both Topaz and Ratio are, as we know, very powerful. We've seen Topaz, every single person that does not have her is practically regretting not getting her. I get comments all the time, it's really funny. But Topaz herself is a single target character. You choose a target, you do that follow up, and that's the target that's going to be taking more damage, is going to be getting hit by Topaz's basic attack, is going to be getting hit by Numby, and then again, is going to take that debuff to take more follow up damage, and that's going to be the main enemy you focus. And we've seen the damage Topaz can do to a single enemy. Despite her being more of the enabler, she herself can do some crazy damage. But now we look at Dr. Ratio. We've seen the damage this guy can do with that chalk. It is really easy to have him kill mobs and just go straight to the boss, or kill the mobs with the skills and have the ult on the boss. So anytime something hits the boss throughout a bounce, like say if you're running him with Aventurine, maybe Aventurine does a follow-up attack, you're still mainly focusing on the mobs. The follow-up attack from Aventurine hits that, and then it procs the chalk hit on to the boss. So Dr. Ratio himself, despite being a single target unit, is easily able to shred through the mobs and get straight to the boss and absolutely decimate the boss because his skill alone doesn't hit that hard. It can still hit like decent numbers, but then his single target follow-up attack hitting easily 200k, 300k, depending on the team you're running and the investment. It's just insane the damage he can do. So his potential to absolutely shred through the bosses, and also being able to potentially kill a mob with a skill and then have that follow-up attack switch to someone else and potentially deal with them too. That's also another thing. And I guess I should mention, a lot of people kind of worry about single targets because of bosses having multiple enemies around. So Memory of Chaos cycles having 4 or 5 enemies, sometimes 3, depending on what it is. So a lot of people will be like, alright, so AoEs can clear through this easily while doing some damage to the main one, while single targets might not do anything, so they must suck. Which, again, as I've mentioned here, isn't true because Dr. Ratio can easily get through them against Zaylee with the Resurgence, but that's, once again, kind of cheating. But she herself still does enough damage to easily shred through them. Topaz, she herself being able to do pretty good damage, and you're pretty easily able to get rid of them with her as well. But with Topaz, you'd mainly attack the one with the main HP bar and have the others clear the other things. But then again, we move on to Dr. Ratio doing that, and it's really easy. And now, especially a case that should, I don't know how people doom post about this guy for being single target, but Boothill. This guy is a absolute monster of a unit. Clearing mobs isn't really a problem with him because he has to kill them in order to get the pocket trick shots anyways for the weakness break, and then also killing it for that victory thing you see. And so you need the mobs in order to have him build up anyways, so he benefits from that, and even at low stacks, he's able to absolutely shred through them and practically one-shot them as well. So using that to your advantage is absolutely really good, so that's not really a single target issue because it's benefiting him. And then moving on to the boss, when you break a boss and the break damage you do, this guy is practically the fastest boss killer in the game we have right now, as far as I can remember. Against the boss, no one doesn't like him absolutely will eat their HP bar. But besides that, the main purpose of him is to be a boss killer, but when people bring into the equation that mobs are an issue, so AoEs are going to be better, he benefits from the mobs because you kill them, you build up the stacks, and then you go to the boss, and then you absolutely shred them, potentially even faster than the AoE character could do it. So in MOC right now, I don't think the first half, or I guess I probably should talk about the first half, more of the second half, it's really easy to build him up on that because you just kill one of the enemies and focus on the main ones. He will absolutely shred through the mob, and then absolutely shred through the main HP. Argenti with the summons could also build him up easily if you don't have it built up by then. And then when it comes to actually killing Argenti, this guy can practically one-shot him. That also applies to the Argenti in the Apocalyptic Shadow, since that is also break tailored right now. He's absolutely just able to nearly, or practically just always, even with a decent build, one-shot him. Which again, goes back to the thing that I said about single targets. Their main purpose is to mainly just shred through that single enemy as fast as possible, so mainly being a boss killer, and Boothill is a perfect example. But the other things that he can do in his kit also prove that mobs don't really mean that he's going to be completely useless. So if there's multiple enemies, he's not completely useless and he's still really good. And now, what kind of inspired making this video? I'm not going to talk about this too much because obviously we don't know everything. But that is going to be Feixiao. From what we know, it does seem like she's going to be this follow-up single target based character. And I have seen so much doom posting about her because she is single target. Without talking about it too much because obviously we don't really know everything, just like as I was talking about with Ratio, being able to kill with the skill and being able to deal with the mobs crazy easily, and then also being able to transfer the follow-up attack and all that kind of stuff, that same stuff would apply to Feixiao. So there being multiple enemies isn't really a problem, and then her actual kit doing some pretty decent damage as well. And then when it comes to actually killing the main boss, no one will do it faster than her because you kill the mobs as fast as possible, as fast as your team can possibly allow it. And then you have the stacks built, you pop the ultimate, and that boss is dead. Because the damage she could do off that ult is practically unrivaled for a single target. Even the AoE characters, I'm just going to say this from what I've seen, I don't think the AoE characters can do that kind of damage. Or that'd be the kind of damage you're seeing off their AoE on a single target, which is just, the damage off that is just insane. Especially for the fact that she might be working off those charges. So you're able to use the ult pretty early on, and even using it without fully being stacked, being able to quickly kill and then being able to build that back, and being, once again, being able to quickly kill with lower stacks is really damn good. Because you can deal with the smaller elite enemies, so maybe like first wave elite enemy one, and then you do the smaller one, get through them quickly, kill the mobs quickly because her kit can allow that with the follow-up attack and all that stuff. And then once you're done with that, the boss comes out, you sort of build up to having the stronger ult, or even maybe midway through, you pop that boss is deleted, gone, never seen again. And that is the role of a single target. It's mainly to be that boss killer. While yes, I'm not downplaying AoEs, obviously the game is very good, or I guess morally tailored towards AoEs, and they can do the job really well. It's just single targets being shunned upon this much and also doom posted about this much just because they can't hit multiple enemies at once, despite also quite literally having the abilities to gain more actions, multi-hits so that are able to transfer, follow-up attacks that are able to transfer, action advances in the kit, which I won't elaborate on because I kind of can't. There are multiple ways to deal with the mobs, and someone like Boothill, where he actually benefits from that. He benefits from killing the mobs and breaking the mobs, and then he's going to be even stronger against the boss, being able to kill the boss even faster. And then not talk about this too much because this is not like ideally just the actual character, but harmony supports, the ones that can give you an action forward or an action advance. Bronya, a lot of people have. Sparkle, a lot of people are going to get or already have. Robin, I actually don't know how many people have Robin. There are multiple characters that let single target characters go multiple times. So you are able to easily get more turns, being able to kill these mobs easily. Like something, for example, Boothill's team, one of his most optimal teams, you run him, you run Ronmei, you run Bronya, and then you run your sustain. Boothill being able to shred through the mobs easily with just one turn, and then you have Bronya giving him another turn. If there's another mob, boom, done like that, he's max stack, and then the elite enemy or boss gets absolutely deleted. So harmony supports in this game definitely make it to where single targets can benefit too, because they benefit AoEs, but no one really talks about the fact that it benefits single targets a lot too, because they kind of just don't think about single targets. So these supports are able to make single targets be able to kill multiple enemies in that one turn, letting these single target characters clear as fast as AoE characters can. Sometimes, obviously, for the most part, they not always will clear as fast because you're clearing multiple enemies at once, as opposed to one by one. But you're still able to clear extremely fast, and people make it seem like just because they're single target, they're not going to be able to clear that fast. MOC is going to be super hard. Apocalyptic Shadow, which is tailored towards single targets, is going to not be clearable. And then again, I'm not going to mention Pure Fiction because that's obviously a AoE mode. But the other two, just having these doom posts and then all these doom posts about Feixiao being single target and that's why she's going to be terrible, it's just not true. Single targets are no longer an issue. There's a lot of things helping them. There's going to be more things going forward. Obviously, AoEs are obviously going to be a little bit above, but just because AoEs might be better in most modes or most cases, that doesn't mean single targets are completely useless. It becomes a different story if they had, for this example, I'm going to say we're going to have Acheron and we're going to have Feixiao, and pretend Feixiao is also a lightning character instead of wind. It'd be a different case if you already have this AoE character that's doing this crazy damage, and so you already have the team set up for that, and then Feixiao comes out that is a single target version that is also lightning and has the same role. You might already have the other one built, and so you might not have any need to summon for the single target version, but that doesn't mean just because it's single target, they're that much worse. Single targets, again, to the point, they're still very, very good. They're receiving a lot more usage, especially with the Apocalyptic Shadow being really good now for single target characters. The whole issue of single targets being bad is just no longer a thing. I think with Boothill, that kind of just beat it because Boothill, anywhere that isn't Pure Fiction, is extremely good. And then we already had Topaz Ratio being single target follow-up characters that with their follow-ups are able to do some crazy stuff as well. And now we're getting Feixiao, who is going to also be able to do follow-up attacks, break, and then have this ult that absolutely just nukes anything you decide to hit. And so yeah, that is the video. I just wanted to give my opinion on the whole state of single target characters. Just as a reiteration, the whole point is I think they're just hated too much. I think they're doom posted a little too much. Single targets are really good. They're getting even better. And once again, I'm not downplaying AoEs. AoEs are still extremely good. They're still better for the most part. But the amount of hate single targets receive is just insane. They're making it seem like just because they're single targets, they're going to be useless, never be used, kind of levels of doom posting, which is it's just not true. Because we've seen Boothill, the stuff he can do is crazy. Feixiao's going to be a single target character from what we know. The stuff that she can do from what we know is going to be absolutely insane. And so the whole thing is single targets are good. They should not be as doom posted as they are. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are you guys also a single target defender? And yep, peace out.